Hello, welcome back to episode 2 of the Halcyon Radio podcast. My name is Elsie, and I will be your guide to the small, magical town of Halcyon. Let's continue the story where I was left being dropped off in Halcyon after an accidental cab ride. Let's begin. As I held the brass door handle, chilled from the evening air and slick with autumn mist, the door had a weight to it I wasn't sure my arm could handle after such a deep sleep in the cab. The AI taxi drove away once I stepped out of it, back towards the city, where I should have gone back to. Its taillights disappeared into the night, leaving me surrounded by the gentle rustle of falling leaves. Thoughts started racing around in my head. Why am I here? I don't belong here. I can't just stay here. Can I? No. I need to get another marketing job. And as my hand lay stuck onto the brass door handle, a gentle pull from the other side guided the door open just enough for me to get a glance at the warm lighting and mahogany wood desk, decorated with a plethora of trinkets, a stained glass lamp casting amber patterns, old books with worn leather spines, and small fairy statues, all arranged just right. A few pressed autumn leaves were scattered among the trinkets like bookmarks from another season. The smell of fresh baked cookies lofted out the door, mingling with the crisp scent of wood smoke. It was almost as if I was sent an invitation. It felt as though someone wanted me there. I pushed the door more to see the beautiful carpets that lay on the worn wooden floor, rich burgundies and golds that echoed the colors of the season outside, lush armchairs in every corner, walls lined with bookshelves, a coffee machine sitting at a little table just asking to be used. Light piano music played in the distance from another room. The set of spiral stairs lined with red and gold carpet led up to an amber-lit hallway. Small pumpkins and gourds decorated the banister, and I caught sight of a wreath made with orange and brown hues hanging on the far wall. As I took a step inside, a small bright light zipped by me and behind the front desk. I peered around the heavy door, intricately designed with Celtic symbols, and I saw no one there. Who had opened the door? A sleepy orange cat with piercing green eyes came sauntering towards me and rubbed against my legs with a deep purr. I said a quiet hello. Behind the front desk, a woman asleep in a deep armchair sat slouched to the side, making light, sleepy noises. The cat meowed, which startled me enough to close the door. It landed with a soft boom, awakening the small woman behind the desk. Her sleepy blue eyes behind round glasses smiled as she stood up. A knitted cardigan, the color of autumn maple leaves, draped around her shoulders. "Ah, yes, you've arrived," she said in a whispered tone. "Oh, I have?" I said, puzzled. "It looks that way," she said as she grabbed a large book and started flipping through the pages while mumbling, "September 26, 2048. Room number 2 is available right now. My name is Janice. I run this place, so if you need anything, just let me know. Now where are your bags? I may look frail, but I'm as strong as an ox." "Nice to meet you, Janice. My name is Elsie, and well, I don't actually have anything. Were you expecting someone to come? Because I was just dropped off here and I didn't make a reservation or anything. You know, AI robot taxis, they take things so literally," I said in a fast-paced tone, feeling my hands starting to sweat, my heart starting to race, knowing that I was looking more crazed by the second. "We always have a way of knowing, dear. No worries," she said without looking up from her book. "Here's a welcome bag I put together. Just something we do for out-of-towners. Well, The majority of people staying here are out-of-towners, but it's got all the essentials. Toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, some skincare I personally like. The lady working down at the market makes it herself, and I took the liberty of putting in a couple pairs of clothes from Mrs. Maisie's store down the street. You'll love her stuff. Size medium, I guessed, she said as she handed me a floral quilted tote bag the size of a small suitcase, adorned with tiny embroidered acorns along the handles. I stood stunned. I can't thank you enough. I really can't. The only problem is I can't really afford this right now. I don't know why I came in. I don't have any money. I'm from the city, and this silly AI taxi brought me here, and it cost over $1,000. I trailed off, beginning to become full of anxious thoughts again. What will I do? Where am I going to stay? Janice began to see my face retching with anxiety. Oh dear, these things do happen. That's why we only let those AI guys make our coffee and clean our houses around here, she said with a chuckle. Look, I could use some help. You stay here, help a few of us townspeople out, and I think we'll get you back on your feet before you know it. The sheer amount of kindness that radiated out of this small woman, I couldn't believe what she was offering me. The more she spoke, the more I could see the beauty of her face. It was lined with wrinkles, as though she had lived a whole life of softness and love. Her blue eyes were bright. Her smile was inviting. She couldn't hide behind those glasses. You couldn't hide the kind of beauty that she held. I can't. I shouldn't, I said, as I began to walk backward. Don't be silly. Take this key. Your room number 2. Then the woman sat down in her chair, started humming along with the piano music still playing in the distance, and closed her eyes with a light smile on her face. The tote bag heavy with generosity, I took the key and walked slowly up the stairs. One by one, I felt the grooves of the wood banister smooth and cool. The quiet creaks of the flooring with each step were almost like a melody, humming to me as I ascended. Through a small window on the landing, I caught the glimpse of moonlight filtering through bare branches outside. The lights were dim, but just enough to see as I made my way to the top of the stairs and turned to the right. I saw number 2 written on the door of one of the rooms. The ornate doorknob turned as the sage green door creaked open, and I walked inside. I flicked on the lights to reveal a forest mural on the wall behind the bed. It was detailed with trees, whose painted leaves seemed to echo the autumn colors outside. Owls perched on branches, even snails and bugs hidden among fallen logs. You could look at it for hours, only to find more things you hadn't seen before. I stood for a while just admiring it, trying to count each fairy hiding behind painted toadstools dotted with morning dew. The bed looked cozy with throw pillows in earthy green tones. The floor was covered in soft carpeting that felt like moss beneath my feet. There was a note on one of the desks with a list of the shops in town and a menu with the meal times. All meals were covered when staying here. 9 a.m. breakfast, pumpkin pancakes with bacon and sausage, including a coffee and tea bar. 12:30 p.m. lunch, harvest salad with fresh-made sourdough bread and avocado cream dressing. 6 p.m. dinner, butternut squash pasta with roasted vegetables picked from the garden behind the inn. My stomach growled. I couldn't remember my last real meal. Breakfast was always so hard for me because my gut ached in the mornings. Then I'd forget lunch usually. Dinner was hit or miss. I usually ordered takeout that threw me into pain as I lay on my side afterwards. I usually just survived on coffee in the morning. I had started to notice in my reflection that my face had begun to look sallow, and my body had lost any curve I once had. When I saw myself, I looked unwell. but I had just kept going as though nothing was wrong, pushing aside any thought of trying to save myself. I had let myself down over and over, like leaves falling one by one until the tree was bare. I unpacked my bag using the face wash and moisturizer, then brushed my teeth. I saw on my phone it was midnight. I put my hand into the bag again. My fingers brushed over a soft fabric that felt like smooth cream. I pulled out to see plum-colored pajamas, pants, and a tank top set. They fit perfectly. I sat on the bed for a moment, only to feel my eyes become heavy. Through the window, I could see the last few golden leaves clinging to a nearby oak tree, and somewhere in the distance, I heard the gentle whisper of wind through the branches. The second I set my head on the pillow, I was out. Thank you for listening to the Halcyon Radio Podcast. Join me again next time for Chapter 3.